Alright, nerds. It is time for another review.
Oh yeah, Space Marine VR.
We went there last night. It launched yesterday.
It did, yes.
And we were there last night. We've put like a little video up on the socials. Shout out to Craig over at Zero Latency Parramatta. He was awesome. We've got so much cool footage which we'll put together, and as I edit the video, I've got a whole heap of clips to edit together, which is sick.
Yeah, no, he went above and beyond.
Yeah, it was really cool. So if you're looking for a good, if you're looking for a good time and you want to go somewhere cool, head over to Zero Latency in Parramatta. It's there on Church Street. It's just, the VR experience was so cool.
It's come a very long way.
Man,
Yeah.
like, I still remember when I got my Lenovo Star Wars.
Yeah.
Years ago now, and it was on the phone. You put the phone in, it's got the mirror with the goggles, and yeah. But like, this was next level. Like, okay, let's start off. So we go through, we get the briefing, and that's all cool. That's all straightforward. Then we watch like a little clip, and it tells us what our mission is, what we're protecting and stuff. Meanwhile, Scott and I aren't listening. We're looking at each other like holding these guns and going, this is so cool. And then you put the goggles on. And so you put the goggles on and tighten it up, focus.
Do your focus, your volume, set your mic up.
Yeah. And your Games Master's in the head. They've got a headset as well, so they're like, yep, we can. And they just direct you as you go, and so you can focus and tell you where to go, where to look as you go. So then we turned around and clicked on our names. And then we could either pick doing the experience together as one team,
or two teams,
or as two separate teams. Now we did it together, and oh my god, it was so much fun. We actually want to go like get two teams, because you can have up to 8 people. So we actually want to get two teams of 4, and do it again. And so. We're on our way. We've almost got our 8, and we'll be back, and there'll be more videos.
Yeah.
We might even take someone who can film for us, so Craig doesn't get.
Working me do it again.
That's it, man. Like, he was so cool. Like,
yeah.
Tuesday night was an awesome night to go. Wednesday night was an awesome night to go.
Yeah.
So once we got in, we started. So. For those people who are like, oh, you put the goggles on and you walk into the wall and stuff, that can happen, and they cover that in the briefing. But
you get proximity warnings that light up. So yeah, there's a couple of times we came close to bumping into each other, and I followed a wall a little bit, much to its disgust. It was going off at me, beeping. I'm like, okay, well, I walked that way away from the wall.
So like your goggles go red, and there's a whoop until you're clear of where you are. But yeah, so we got in, we put our goggles on, got started, and man, the next 30 minutes was just
spectacular.
It was like
it was the best shit.
It was like a nerd wet dream come true. For me, for you, for me, like,
as soon as it switched from just a VR, where you just like a torso and holding a stick, and it dropped the skins down on, and all of a sudden Rodney was a freaking Space Marine, and all of a sudden I'm holding a bolt rifle with a grenade launcher, and I'm just like,
it was. I just to look over, and like I look over, I see Scott, and there's like where he should be standing, there is a Space Marine, and you're just like, oh, this is so good.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. It doesn't take long before it's straight into it.
Oh no,
and so we've got to get to a certain spot. We've got to go through a couple of levels, clear out a couple of levels, and protect protect the blow up a generator, so they can't get their hands on it.
Get a relic,
and then get to the Thunderhawk
with the relic.
Yeah, the Thunderhawk at the end. Anyway, well, let's go through first.
Yeah.
So we get into our first part, and we're walking around, and we're a bit like I'll admit I was a bit cautious because I'm like, yep, no worries.
Getting used to it, like you don't know where, like, because it's a pretty big area that you're walking around in.
Yeah, man.
As soon as you put the headset on, you're in a different world, and you walk in between. To start, we're in a double-sided firing range.
Yes.
Just to get used to it.
Yeah. So we get our eye in.
Moving around, and then an area will light up in the visor, and that's where you got to go. So it's like it lights up the elevator. We both walk over to the elevator.
Yep. Stand on where the feet are, and away we go. And then the elevator takes us down. And then we walk out, and then all of a sudden, I'm just like, "Caution, brother!" And Scott's like, "Contact!" I'm like, "What?" And I look over, and there's like a swarm of Tyranids, and it's just coming down, and then all of a sudden I can like just see red out of the corner of my visor, and then I turn around, and oh shit, they're coming from the other way as well. So it's coming both ways. We're just like
it throws you in the deep end straight away. They're not just like coming from one direction. They start coming from there, and then next thing you know, they're jumping over the barricade behind you, and then like once you get used to that, they're coming from a third direction as well.
Yeah.
And then it was like, hey, if we stand over here, that's a wall. We're safe.
We're safe. So you get we back up, we get there.
Yeah.
We like some of the videos. You can see we're fighting back to back on different sides of the thing. Now the good thing about normal is grenades don't hurt your partner.
Very good once we found this out.
Very good. Once we found this out. Now, your grenades replenish like everything else, but you only get 3 at a time. And then you've got to wait for them to charge up and replenish. It's just the swarms and swarms of Tyranids that come through. And then kind of once you clear the area, like once you clear that section, it's like, all right, brother, onwards. And then we're like, yes. So we're just... And meanwhile, we're screaming out to each other like, "Contact here, brother! I need cover. Cover me, I have your back, brother." Yes, and then we found the generator spots with weapons.
Drop pod weapons. You come in, and you got a couple of different weapon choices in each pod. And I walk over. What's that? Plasma incinerator. Oh yeah.
And I got like the flame. What was it? The flame. Pyroclastic flame. I don't know. Anyway, I just held my finger on the trigger and just. And it was so good.
The flame was one, like, that was a good weapon.
Yeah.
That was fun using that. Like, we're not talking about 10, 15 Bombardiers and Terminators coming at you. We're talking about hundreds.
Yeah.
And
literally, they would have been coming in waves of at least 50 or 60 at a time. And
you got like an entry point jumping down off a balcony, and you're just there with the flame on going,
yeah.
And your armor, which was bright blue, nice and clean, pristine.
Yeah.
When you start getting into the battle, you start picking up Xenos blood, flame scorching.
Yeah, like soot, dirt, all kinds of things.
About halfway through, armor was kind of almost black.
Yeah.
We were just getting...
Look, you play Ultramarines, but like we're a completely different chapter halfway through it. you couldn't even
Black Templar.
you couldn't even see the Ultramarine markings on our pauldrons, which was funny. But yeah, so we get through and you clear that first stage, and then we've got to take an elevator down towards where the relic is.
Yeah.
That's where things get fun because gargoyles come overhead.
Open sky and swarms of gargoyles are coming in.
And it's like if you've ever seen bats migrate from one spot to another.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it's like, but like these big heretical creatures, and they're shooting plasma bolts or whatever, flash borer, like green venom coming at you. So we started taking fire, and we're like, we're losing life. We didn't know what it was, so we're looking for these ones coming over here, and all of a sudden they're swarming from behind as well. So yeah, that was interesting. So it was.
Did get the record for highest number of gargoyle kills.
Oh, you did get venue. Yeah, we'll go through the stats.
Yeah.
We'll go through the stats because we got a few Scott's number one at the moment.
Yeah.
As far as we know, there had only been 3 games at that point, but he was at least, I think, 18,000 above the next highest.
Second place,
yeah. And I wasn't that. I was only about 400 or 500 points off second place. So I ended up coming in third. At that stage, when we go back, we'll see if our scores held up.
It's okay. We know what's coming now. We'll make it even higher.
Oh, dude, I know. I hold the venue record at the moment on that game for headshots.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. So we after we get to the gargoyles, then that's where we had to blow up the container for the holy container that held the relic.
Yeah, it's got like a force field generated around it.
Yes.
And you sit there. You got to head over to a console, activate the console, and it drops a shield, and you start to shoot to break the relic out, and then all hell breaks loose.
All hell breaks loose. Now and this is where the games master is pretty cool and comes in handy, because we were completely disoriented. Best way to describe it is, that's my son in the background on the phone. Best way to describe it is Doctor Strange when they go into the the hidden world stuff, and when he's trying to fight Dormammu, and when he goes in to see Dormammu and that, and you've got like this, or Kung Fu Panda 3, where he takes the what's his name, the butcher or whatever, back into the spirit world, and there's just like bits and pieces in there. Basically it's we've broken his force field generator, and it's taken us into
the relic starts warping reality,
and it takes us into the warp. So you get a taste of the warp, which I think is cool. That's what I'm calling it.
I looked over when we got teleported, and Rodney is upside down on the roof. And I'm like, what is going on?
Scott's like this scooting around, and I'm just like, what the heck? And this is where you actually lose your orientation.
And you're still moving around in this area of space, and we're both walking next to each other, but he's up there, I'm here. So the whole point is, as your platform deteriorates, another one kind of, and you got to get onto that. Jump onto the next one,
which was cool.
Get the little reminder through the headset.
Yes, you get the
platforms you're on are disintegrating. You need to move to a safe spot.
And that's where your games master comes in.
Okay, we get it now.
Alright, cool. We're done. That's easy. So once we get through that bit, then we've got the Holy Relic. And the whole way through, there is, you can tell, like everybody earns points, but you can tell who the top scorer is, because over them will be the Iron Halo, which is just cool to see the Iron Halo over you. You look over and you're like, oh yes, brother. Excellent. I am purging so much. So we did that, and then we got to the next point. After we came out of the warp, everything was cool, and then we had to ascend a couple of elevators.
Yeah.
So we ascended the first lot, and then
that first section though, when you get back to it takes you up ramps. Oh. And you're walking around on the flat surface, and you've got to walk up a ramp, and it's like, it's completely disorientating. You're so like sold on what is happening to you.
I get.
You're like, you go to move towards the ramp, but the way it does it is the closer you get to the ramp, it just elevates you up.
It just elevates you up.
The freakiest thing when you start. And I'm just like, you're walking and you're like, oh, oh, oh.
and then I just hear over my comm, because we've got comms with each other as well, so we can talk to each other. And I could just hear in my comms, just walk forward, bro. It'll take you up. And I'm just like, all right, no worries. But yeah, like once you get used to that, it's easy. To a certain point, I actually, I think it was at that stage, you stop kind of like walking around like you believe. I actually believed I was a stormtrooper, and I was like trudging, like I was in my armor, and
you get that gait to you.
Yeah, and then it's like you kind of get that little bit of the old John Wayne gait where you're, all right.
There's a section where we had to go over a very narrow, ruined walkway, and there was a cut, and you can see in the video what we're doing, and then down the bottom, what we look like walking, and you just see me going. I'm like full rolling the shoulders like an actual Space Marine.
Yeah, man. And it's just, and I'm just, I was like, and in my head, I'm doing the noises to my.
Yeah.
So then we ascend these platforms, we get up on the elevators, then we get to the top. Now, at the top, there is.
That's the hangar?
We're outside the hangar. So yeah, we're outside the hangar at this stage, and we've taken out a few. As we go up, you come out, you take out a few Tyranids, get onto the next elevator, go up, take out a few Tyranids, the next elevator. Then you get to the top. And there was heavy bolters as well. We had a chance for heavy bolters. Now gargoyles do not like heavy bolters.
No.
So just say that. So it wasn't just like a flamer and a plasma weapon. There was chances. There was multiple drop pods for heavy bolters as well. Oh my god, the heavy bolters were so good.
Yeah, they were cool. Yeah. you wanted to grab it like it was a heavy bolter, and
yes, and there was facility on our gun to actually do that.
Yeah.
But it is. It's like the Oculus control.
Yeah.
So it's
we were warned that it was fragile.
We were warned that it was fragile, and that because when you're looking down and you can see your heavy bolter, you can see the handle
on the top.
There. So you just want to grab it and. But yeah, no, it was absolutely sick. So we got to the top, got outside the hangar. Now this is where the next lot of basically Tyranids, like your next wave. It's like third or fourth wave at this stage, just coming down, coming over the top, coming at you, and then all of a sudden you hear Tyranid warriors inbound, and and then you're like, okay, it's gonna be one of those, and then all of a sudden you look up and there is this Tyranid warrior with two swords that are absolutely just
big quad bone swords,
and like
we're straight at you.
we're meant to be what 7, 8 foot high, and these things were taller than us, and it was a beautiful thing to see. I'm pretty sure at the end of that wave that the Hive Tyrant, there was a Hive Tyrant, and so there was five warriors? Five warriors and a Hive Tyrant. And plus all your termagates, homagates. And all other kinds of Xenos goodness coming at you. So that's when we got through there, like it was like one of my headshots was one of those warriors, because I've just turned around, cleared my section, turned around, this warrior's come up behind Scott and just said, my boom. Which was so cool. Just like watching, like it's only what you'd ever seen on like the 40k lore channels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, or the cartoons or any type of artwork where you just kind of see them disintegrate. But just watching it happen as you're doing it, was just intense.
Yeah.
It was intense. So yeah, that experience was just absolutely awesome. So then we get into the hangar. Now, when we get into the hangar, there is oh no, it's not cleared. We need to clear the area properly, and I think it's like a little storm raven or something that's sitting on the ground, or some kind of vehicle.
There's 2 storm talons. Yeah.
And all of a sudden you just sit and go, boom. And there is the kind effects. I want to say in all its 20-foot glory.
Yeah.
Like big, beefy, bustling, sounding like an elephant. And I, to be honest, I didn't even see the weapons on it because I was just so like enamored with the detail,
Yeah,
like the
dude,
detail
crazy.
on this thing, and it gets up in your face as well. So like, we're keeping clear, and then all of a sudden there's like this big red line in front of you, and you're like, oh no, and you are in tail whip.
Yeah.
It whips its club tail, and bang!
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, I died at this point, and I recharged. So you got to wait like 10 seconds, and it recharges you, and you get your life back. Now,
this is when I found the weapon drop pod.
Oh yes.
And I'm like, I look over to it, I'm thinking it's going to be another flamer on plasma, and I'm like, it's a melter gun!
As soon as he yelled that into the comm, I was going straight over. I'm like, whoa, melter, boom, boom, boom.
Literally chasing this Carnifex around the hangar, just unloading this thing into its base.
And like there was multiple drop pods around, so there wasn't just like one melter that you had to go back or something.
Yeah.
Like we could go to different sections, and there was heavy bolters in there as well. And it was a mix. It was just a mix of carnage, and all of a sudden the Carnifex is hurt. It has called the brood to it, and all of a sudden you're fighting this Carnifex, and there's like a brood around you, and you're like
blood,
and you're just like, what the damn hell?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then in the end we took out that sucker and cleared the area, and then it's just the glorious finish, I suppose. And it's just like you take a minute and you watch this Thunderhawk
Prep for extraction, brothers.
comes down, opens up,
then the assault ramp blows down,
and it's just like, oh. And I mean,
and then you're walking into the Thunderhawk, for God's sake.
You walk into the Thunderhawk, and then basically the mission's complete because you've cleared the area, you've gotten out there with the relic. You're in. The Thunderhawk takes off, and you are flying, and it's at that point that you can take your goggles off and come back to reality. Yeah. We kind of gave it a few extra minutes because it wasn't going dark in the goggles. So yeah. But I will tell you, it was like one of those things you can't really, like, you can explain it, but you can't really explain the sensation.
Yeah.
And like I don't know about you, but like I took the goggles off, I just looked over at you and go, did you see what we just did?
The immersion of it was just unbelievable. And you've been playing with these little freaking plastic models for the last 2-3 decades, and then all of a sudden you're actually in it.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't compare to like when you're playing like on a PC or a console. It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
Like it was, you're walking around. You're the actual space marine. Every movement you do, where you point the gun, that's
where it is.
It was just amazing. And like, even just looking around and like you come out onto a platform And above you is a defense laser, and there's swarms of Tyranids everywhere, and you see Hydra flak cannons opening up.
Yeah,
chunks
like
out of
big purple, like
massive streams of gargoyles, gigantic, huge battles all around you, and you're striding through it. Just
even the blockades and the barriers, like when you're hitting them, like even heavy bolters. Yeah. I know I hit a couple with the heavy bolters, and it was taking chips out of it. Yeah. Like I was basically, we were knocking down these barricades, making it easier for the tyranny to come get it. But like it was just the detail and the absolute immersion of it. It was just, and I just looked over at Scott. I'm just like, man, it was absolutely insane.
It was fantastic, absolutely
fantastic. And like, look, big props. Zero latency Parramatta. Like, they were awesome. The whole experience was awesome, and then after the best, just after, a hard 30 minutes of killing nids, what's the last thing you want to do? You just want to chill out with a cool towel.
Yeah.
and yes, you're offered a cool towel at the end, and you're just like, oh. And then while we're doing that, we're going over the stats. And then, at the end of the experience, there is, they send you an email. And the email covers all the stats from the whole team, not just you, but yours are first, and then your teams is with you. The team stats, and then there's two little videos that they send along with you. So one of them was one of the ones we put up on our socials last night. I made the little cut. I'm so happy that I did that little intro when we were outside in the group. It was just. It just made that so much better. 100%. Yeah. Actually, the only thing that would have made it better was just like us walking out going, what the fuck did we just do?
It's hard to express how, this was next level.
Yes.
I don't care if you've done, VR rides before. The whole setup that Zero Latency has, where you can actually walk around and interact with things, and it takes it to a ridiculous level. We're old enough that we've seen VR come from its inception.
We are of the generation where this stuff boomed.
Yeah.
So as soon as we were old enough to buy it, here it is. We're starting to make this.
Yeah.
And then we got when did we hear about VR the first time? It was I think late 90s, early 2000s, you know what I mean? Virtual reality is a thing, really. Yeah. And just the leaps and bounds it's come in. Even looking at the Oculus. Yeah. The Oculus game. So, my brother's got that, my nephew's got that.
Yeah, it's different though. With those things, you're stuck in a very small area.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, you've got the sensors in the room and things like that, and your hand movements. Being able to get up and walk around and
in a space,
it shows you how far you traveled. I know mine was over 1.5 kilometers I walked.
Yes.
In that 30 minutes.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's not like you're just standing and taking a couple of steps.
No.
You're walking around through the whole thing.
I actually no, my watch was zzz, zzz, and I actually completed my steps for the day. I had actually completed by the time we left there, I had completed not only my steps for the day, but I do a well-being thing, and it's a little challenge. So you do 10,000 steps a day, and 70,000 steps for the week.
Yeah.
It's Thursday. I'm already on to the next week, and I'm on my feet all day in the warehouse. But we covered some kilometers.
Yeah.
And you can see that in the videos. So I'm gonna. My editing skills are poor at best, but we explained to we said we had a chat with Craig, who was there on Wednesday night, and we're just look, we have a YouTube channel. This is what we do. This is what we talk about. We pay for the experience. We want to document the experience. Yeah. And he was actually gracious enough to actually help and take some footage of us while we were on the floor, stomping around. And he was our games master, which was really cool. And not only that, there's a monitor at the side or at the back near the toilets and that. And they put it on the screen, and you can see.
Yeah, it's taking footage of us in the arena and what we're seeing as well. So.
Yeah, which was really cool. So we've got like there's a whole heap of little videos. So we
I'm sure we'll somehow get Rodney to put it in the background while we're having the chat.
Oh, I will. Actually, you know what? I should. Yeah. Okay, I'll learn how to do that.
Yeah.
And because I could probably we could probably load another video. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I believe in you.
Sweet. So like, meanwhile, while we're talking, I'm gonna try and put like videos up into like these little spaces that you see between us, because apparently that's a doable thing. So all in all, listen, I to be honest, being a fan, even if you are not a fan of Warhammer 40k, even if you haven't played Space Marine, even like this is,
it's an experience.
It's an experience.
End of story.
I
know I've said this word probably a dozen times now, but the immersion level is like nothing you've done before.
No.
Like,
not at all.
In Japan, I was in like the pod games where they strap you into a pod and you swan around, like you do full 360, like you're playing an arcade game, and you've got the movement like a sim rig.
Yeah.
But even that wasn't as crazy as this. Like, being able to put the goggles on, be immersed into that whole world, have the actual gun in your hands.
I think the physicality of having the weapon in your hands made it like just that.
And being able to walk around with somebody else.
Yes.
Like every now and again it'd be like, "Whoa, get a bit close, get a bit close."
You just get the whoop. There's red triangles that just come up. Okay, let's just move over this way.
It's just, I rate it 10 out of 10.
100.
I'm a fanboy.
100%. I'm a fan.
I'm a fanboy.
Yeah.
So definitely gets me a 10 out of 10.
But even just the whole experience of it's 10 out of 10.
The fact that I want to go back and try the other programs that they do as well.
Exactly.
Like, that tells you how much I liked it.
I think, because it looks like there's a Far Cry one.
There's a Far Cry one, there's like a Zombie Outbreak one,
and
there's a sci-fi one as well.
See, so do you know what? I'm down. I'm down to try the other ones as well. So we'll see what we can work out, and we can review the other ones too.
Yeah.
But like for me, like stepping into this, going first up, I've seen like the VR things and that before, but like you're like, it's something that I want to do, but this was just because it was Space Marines, and we're just like, we're gonna physically see ourselves in a Space Marine suit. Don't get me wrong, we've tried the cosplay route, and as cosplayers, we have tried to make the foam armor, which was just it becomes an
prohibitively expensive.
I've actually, since Space Marine 2's come out, I have a subscription to Nico Industries. I have been 3D printing the helmets to the point where I've had to call on the warranty for my K1 Max.
I'm meant to run it 24/7.
I've printed out 3 of the helmets. I've got my big girl. I've got my Elegoo Neptune 3 Max, which is actually at this point printing out the Thunder Hammer from Nico Industries. So that'll be cool when that's done. So it kind of prompted me to be like, let's have another crack at this. So I'll say, I've got all the files. All the files I have are from Nico Industries. So we're doing like Project Astartes. Now the goal is 2 sets of armor, and we're not going to put a time frame on it because it's not going to be a time frame thing. But as we go through and do bits and pieces, there will be updates and bits and things to show, I think. But it's been a dream. We've now lived the dream. And now I want to dress like the dream forever.
If I had one bit of feedback for Zero Latency and the Space Marine program, it would be they need a close combat option.
Oh!
That would just make it...
Yeah.
That would be like 20 out of 10. But Yeah, if you give someone a sword and they're swinging around in there,
a chainsword,
it'd be a little bit harder to ensure other players' safety.
But you could even no.
Damn, that would be good though.
But even still, that could be like you could combi weapon.
Yeah.
Combi weapon with a chainsword, and then you just, I'm out of rounds.
Sometimes you get them up close and personal and be like, go back to original first edition where you had chainsaw blade on the front of the holder.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, for me, and for Scott, like the immersion, everything was absolutely 10 out of 10. The crew of Zero Latency Parramatta is just absolutely awesome. So go down and check them out. We're getting our kill team together and we're going back there. And then I think we'll start looking at the other programs and going and checking them out too. Because I had so much fun. And it's like, admittedly, it's only a half an hour thing. But by the end of it, like we were tired and sweating.
Yeah. Shorts and a t-shirt is the way to go.
I dressed appropriately for once.
Glad I didn't go for the long sleeves, I'll tell you right now.
I know.
But you feel it after.
Yeah. You definitely feel it. So
the cold towel was very welcome.
It was so welcoming. But I still reckon like I could use the bottom half of the sniper helmet for under the goggles. Maybe put a couple of fans in to blow on my neck. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, so listen kids, this is our take on the new Space Marines. What's it called? Defenders of Avarax. From Zero Latency VR, and we are very, very happy nerds.
100%.
So remember kids, we're all nerds for something. See you later. For the Emperor.
For the Emperor.